here by Hugo Daly. In this virtual economy, players are across the globe. So we reach out to those using the technology available and in some cases visiting them directly. As for example, with a trip to the Silicon Valley a few weeks ago to establish contacts with IT industry leaders, the world of startups, and potential financiers interested in investing in Jamaica and in the Caribbean. I would like to take this opportunity to thank those global players that have agreed to come to Jamaica as part of Digital Jam 2. They will present to Jamaica youths some of the new employment opportunities in the global virtual economy, a world of opportunities that is not very well known. In particular, I'd like to thank Samasource, a very innovative NGO that brings dignified, computer-based work to youth, women and refugees with a focus on those living in poverty. Microworkers, an innovative international online platform that connects employers and workers from around the world. Freelancers, the world's largest outsourcing marketplace, empowering entrepreneurs and small businesses worldwide. And Mobile Works, a company that matches tasks to the most qualified workers in an accurate, highly trained virtual workforce. Last but not least, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize Michael Robinson. I would like Michael Robinson to stand up here because he's the person who's designed the logo that you see here on the TV and on the screens. So let's give him a round of applause. Michael Robinson work and creativity will power the entire communication campaign from now onwards. And so he's played a very instrumental task. Now, I'd like to call on all Jamaican youths to come to Digital Jam 2, bring their CVs, and take advantage of these great opportunities to interact with potential employers nationally and internationally, with providers of training programs, with universities, with industry leaders. You will also be able to upload your CV at www.digitaljam2.com. So don't hesitate. This is a call specifically to young people who are interested in this. You can find all that information at the website that I just mentioned. You can follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/digitaljam2 or on Twitter at www.twitter.com/digitaljam2. Do drop us your ideas, your aspirations, your stories of success and or difficulties. Please come to Jamaica Conference Center, downtown Kingston, from June 28th to June 30th to learn about what you can do in this global virtual economy and how you can find opportunities for yourself and your friends there. Thank you.
It's my very great pleasure now to invite the Minister who has brought all this together to come and address us. I could say many things about the Minister of Youth and Culture, but I just want to mention one thing, that after my first major contact with her, which was on her return from a certain contest in another part of the world, the next major connection with her was seeing her going off to Malaysia on a technology-related expedition, which resulted in her supporting serious technological improvements at the University of the West Indies, where, of course, she was engaged. And she has been instrumental in providing much in the way of technology and opportunity for young people throughout her entire life. So it is my very great pleasure to welcome now the Minister of Youth and Culture, the Honourable Lisa Hanna, MP.
Thank you, Ambassador Whiteman. Not only am I so pleased to be here, I'm excited as well. But I wanted to start off by, as a rural MP, and quite recently a pastor came to me and related a story where he said that he went to one of his churches up in the hill, and he met one of his regular farmers in terms of the congregation. But on that morning it was raining, and the farmer came, and it was only both of them who arrived. And so the pastor turned to him and said, "Listen," call him Farmer Whiteman for the meantime, "let's just go home and say a little prayer, make the sign of the cross, and we'll be okay." So the Farmer Whiteman said, "So Pastor, if you throw food and you get one chicken, you're not going to feed the chicken then?" So I'm saying, "You're right. Come inside and let us minister and worship together." So the farmer came in, and the pastor proceeded to go into a long sermon. And he went and he preached from Genesis to Revelation. And he saw Farmer Whiteman starting to lose a little interest. So he figured, well, needs to wrap up. So he wrapped up very quickly. And when he went to Farmer Whiteman, he said, "But I thought you said you wanted a full sermon." He said, "So look here, Pastor, if you call foul and one come, you're going to give them the whole bag of feed, sir?" So this morning, many of you were called, many of you have come. You have already been fed. There is not much more that I think I can say. However, let me first of all thank Ambassador Whiteman, Mr. Giorgio Valentini, Mr. Vasquez, Fabio, Mrs. Michelle English, and certainly Tara Playfair from Lyme, Minister Folks Abrahams, who's here, members of the Prime Minister's office, members who I see here from the PIOJ, members from the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, the Creative Industries Unit, JAMPRO, all of you in here, the Jamaica Computer Society, and I could go on and on, USAID, because each one of you who is sitting here plays such a critical role. So many of you are probably asking, how comes the Ministry of Youth and Culture is actually standing in front of you? Well, the truth be told, when I became the minister, it was clear that not only did we represent the majority of the population, but we also represented that part of Jamaica which has given the best to the world, which is our culture, which is when people think of Jamaica, they think of our food, our music, our people. And there had to be a very synergistic, enthusiastic, and exciting way to let our people understand that, one, our youth are the most critical component to the survival of this country, and two, cultural and creative industries are perhaps one of our best competitive advantages for economic growth within the global economy. So once we recognize our mandate from our Prime Minister, which was to ensure that ICT become an engaging force for economic growth, I set out. And I set out to go and find those partners which could bring the kinds of dreams for our young people to a reality. Because whether we want to believe it or not, and a number of these have come out of the PIOJ and some out of the World Bank, our young people contribute, persons under 30 contribute to 75% of the crime in this country. There are over 70% of our young people who are not trained. 55% of our young people who leave high school don't leave passing an exam subject to matriculate into higher education. In addition to that, when you look at the statistics, over 85% of them want to leave Jamaica. But when you go out and you speak to our young people, you recognize the tremendous talent and enthusiasm that resides in their souls for things that are Jamaican. You recognize that they want things, and they want it now. They live in an environment not only with expectations of instant entitlement, but they live in an environment where they believe that they can achieve anything if given the right opportunities. So what is important to understand is we have to get creative to keep their attention. And I think Tara knows this, and I think Michelle knows this. I know it, but sometimes coming up with the mechanisms, because we have the training opportunities, they're there. We have the extracurricular activities, they are there. But somehow there is a gap between the linking of the training and exciting their enthusiasm. And that is where the Ministry of Youth and Culture is now positioning itself. Not only strengthening the institutional framework and capacities through the NCYD, through the National Youth Service, through the child development agencies, and spearheading those areas, but coming up with new and creative initiatives to drive their understanding that, one, Jamaica is not the same place that your parents and grandparents occupied many years ago. It is now a country that is competing with some of the larger manufacturing countries for their pride of place. And the only way we're going to get economic growth is if you as a population become productive to understand that you have to help us drive that. So we also have to hold them accountable. So I am so pleased to be here because it is really a dream that has come true in a very short space of time. And I really want to put on the record my sincere thanks and appreciation to the World Bank, because I remember when they came, and imagine me sitting among Fabio, Giorgio, and others, convincing them that the way to go about getting people interested is you have to start with our youth first. You have to engage them. And if you bring this to them, you will have them in a position to recognize that sometimes jobs are not a 9 to 5, and that jobs are not a geographical positioning, because people in China can be working in Jamaica. There is a virtual way of doing business in the world, and we want them to take advantage of it. So Digital Jam 2.0, 2.0 is a catalyst to launch our activities across government, through industry, through youth, through energy, to recognize that if we are going to move, not only do we have to work together in terms of policy, but we also have to make our young people understand what is at stake. Jamaica has pride of place in being able to contribute to cultural industries. And if you look at the projections from the PIOJ, you'll see that cultural industries for this year alone, with media services, will contribute $2.2 trillion to the global economy. Jamaica is already a part of that contribution. We just don't know how to measure it just yet. And if we put a cadre of trained individuals, the majority of our population, at the forefront of being able to leverage this kind of opportunity, imagine what we can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a Minister of Youth and Culture, in collaboration with the government and other ministries, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and thanking JAMPRO for really putting their all into the job fair, energy, I want to say a very special thank you